In 1996, Capcom released the first Resident Evil game. 16 years later, it's morphed into one of the greatest zombie franchises the world has ever seen. Resident Evil 1 was a game that brought horror to a whole new level. I remember playing Jill Valentine, walking down those dark hallways and waiting for an infectee to sneak up on me at any moment. It was terrifying. After the success of Resident Evil 1, Capcom brought out Resident Evil 2, and this hands down was the scariest game I have ever played. Resident Evil 2, the game, was a hugely important game in Res Evil's history. It introduced us to mega characters Leon S. Kennedy and Clare Redfield. Resident Evil is the story of a handful of survivors who battle it out against the world's most evil conglomerate, the Umbrella Corporation. Now, these guys make bioorganic weapons. The Umbrella Corporation is the entity responsible for the development of the deadly T-virus, and later on we see it develop into the almost unstoppable G-virus. Now, the T-virus is nasty stuff, and it got out of laboratory and into the civilian population and turned everybody into zombies. The T-virus didn't just turn people into zombies. As time went on, it actually turned people into horrifying creatures, which the Umbrella Corporation used as bioorganic weapons. Now, in the game, you came up against some terrifying enemies. There were lickers, zombies, and even the ghastly Nemesis. Now, there are a huge number of Resident Evil games released. In fact, since 1996, there has been a game or an expansion released every year. Now, what I love about Resident Evil is the storyline. One of the first times ever we see zombies being created not by some crazy voodoo, but by science. In fact, it was so popular that Hollywood picked it up. Now, the Hollywood Resident Evil films saw the creation of the character Alice, played by the amazing Milla Jovovich. Now, Alice is sort of a mixture of all the franchise's most beloved female characters, including Jill Valentine, Clare Redfield, and Ada Wong. Now, the Resident Evil films don't have as strong a storyline as the games. They do have some pretty awesome fight scenes and special effects. And I have to say, they are a guilty pleasure of mine. Now, what I love about Resident Evil is there are so many plots and subplots, and this makes way for a huge cast of characters. You've got stars heroes like Jill Valentine, the Gunko, Chris Redfield, the amazing Ada Wong, the legendary Leon S. Kennedy, and even civilian activist Clare Redfield. Now, the first few games saw our heroes fighting it out against the T-virus and the evil Umbrella Corporation. But the fourth Resident Evil game saw the introduction of the Los Plagas parasite and the Los Illuminatus. All in all, Resident Evil has spanned over 16 years. We've seen 5 epic Hollywood blockbuster films that have grossed almost $1 billion combined. There have been 6 awesome games, as well as loads of expansions. There's graphic novels, there's CG films. This franchise knows no boundaries. Now, if you haven't checked out Resident Evil, I highly suggest you get your paws on some very soon.